I do not feel comfortable handing Wells Fargo my money. And I really just want to know how to access my funds, because if I wanted digital currency, I would have went out and bought Bitcoin instead of just having my money inside of a Wells Fargo account, not doing jack shit. Inside the branch, the lady relayed to me that my reasoning for my money wasn't good enough. The reasoning that I gave her was not good enough. And I never want to bank with them again. And you should never bank with Wells Fargo ever, please. They do not make you feel safe and secure. Not at all. I just want my money. What up, YouTube? Slug here. I got a bit of a story time for you. So in the middle of last week, around Wednesday, December 3rd, me and the wifey took a trip over to Port St. Lucie to celebrate a birthday. And during our road trip over there, I actually received a Christmas bonus of $10,000. And immediately in my head, I'm like, I'm about to go withdraw that. I'm about to go stash some acorns, put some money up for a rainy day. So we get to where we're going over in Port St. Lucie, and we get to doing our thing. It was a good time at the birthday party. We were around friends and family, just celebrating, you know, another year on this earth. And it was the wifey's sister's birthday. I mean, she had like a little pasta party. It was pretty cool, actually. They had like pesto pasta, Cajun pasta. I even threw down, made some homemade mozzarella sticks. I made them for the first time too, so they didn't turn out too bad for my first time. They needed a little bit of sauce, which we had, but it was pretty good. So after a couple of days of like celebrating and stuff, I decided to run to the bank, and now I want to do my cash withdrawal. So I actually go to the Wells Fargo located at 900 West Indiantown Road over in Jupiter, Florida. And I go to actually do my withdrawal. And as soon as I go in there, there's only one person in front of me. It's some older gentleman. I'm like, all right, cool. There's only one guy in here. I was like, it's not gonna take too long. I'll just get in here, grab my money, head out. The older gentleman, he's hard of hearing, and the bank teller is like asking him all these questions, like, you know, what's your social security number, what's your address, can you freaking verify all this? And he's like, what? I'm like, oh my god, this is kind of awkward. So like she has to like ask super loud, and then he has to like answer super loud, like all his answers. And I'm like, damn, I'm hearing this guy's social security number and address. I'm like waiting there, I'm like trying to mind my business. I'm like looking around, trying to fucking just not listen to this guy. I'm trying to just mind my business pretty much. But as they're like dealing with each other, some older lady from behind them comes and she like waves me over to the next window. I'm like, all right, cool. And she's like, hi, how may I help you? I was like, I'm here to do a cash withdrawal. And she's like, oh, a withdrawal? Actually, I can't help you with that. And I was like, fuck. And then she's like, yeah, what you can do is you can wait for this lady to finish with the older gentleman, and as soon as she's done, then she'll take care of you. And I was like, all right. I was pretty much doing that already, but you know, that's fine. I was like, all right, I'll listen to you, I guess. I'll do what you told me to do, even though that's exactly what I was doing. But and so I jumped back in line and I'm waiting. I'm just waiting there, and then she's like, she looks at me again, and she's like, you know, we have an ATM over there, right? And she points to the ATM 5 feet away. And she's like, you can just use that if you need to do your cash withdrawal. And I look at her, I'm like, no. I'm like, I'm okay. And she's like, are you sure? It'll be a lot faster. And me knowing I'm there to withdraw my bonus, I'm like, nah, that's not gonna work. It's way more than what I'm gonna get out of an ATM. So I'm like, no. I was like, and she's like, all right, if you wanna wait. I was like, yeah, I wanna wait. I end up, you know, having to wait for these guys to do their transaction and stuff like that. And it takes a little minute. And they finally get done or whatever. So then now it's my turn. And the younger female bank teller asked me what I need help with and why I'm in the bank today. And I immediately tell her, I'm here for a cash withdrawal. And the older lady in the back, her fucking head snaps around. And I'm like, her head snaps around. She starts trying to be nosy about my transaction. And I could feel like, you know, the little bit of hostility and kind of a little bit of tension in the air between me and her. Only because I feel like she just wanted me to use the ATM for some reason. I don't know why, but Maybe she thought it was easier and I didn't need that high of a withdrawal. So then I begin to start my transaction. I pull my debit card out of my wallet. I go and I tap it on the kiosk. And I tell her, I was like, I want to do a cash withdrawal. And she asked me, she says, how much? And I tell her $10,000. And the older lady in the back, she whips her head around again. And then she fucking, like after hearing that, she snaps back around, tries to act busy and go back to doing her little job. And I'm like, lady, I tried to tell you I didn't need the ATM. But after telling the younger teller my amount, she asked me what my reasoning was for my large transaction. And I tell her, why? Why do I need a reasoning? And she follows up with oh, well, there's a lot of fraud going around and I'm just making sure that you aren't being scammed. And for me, I immediately thought she was bullshitting me. So I just tell her straight up, I was like, I just want my money. And I look her in the eyes and I tell it to her as simply as I can. I just look at her and say, I just want my money. And I can see that she's kind of taken aback by that. And she kind of just stops and pauses and just kind of pulls the slip out from under the drawer or whatever and kind of reluctantly gives me this fucking withdrawal slip. So now I got this slip and I gotta fill out fucking name, address, and the written amount of how much I want to withdraw and sign it and stuff like that. It's a real simple process. And after filling it out, I hand it back through the window, and the teller, as she's looking at it, she asks me, she goes, why do you need this big of an amount again? And I begin to tell her, I just want my money. And she cuts me off and says, well, it's just that for this large of a transaction, I need an actual reasoning for why you're pulling this money out. I'm like, okay. Now, mind you, I've done transactions like this numerous amounts of times, and I can kind of get a feel of what the mood is and what the vibe is behind the counter. I can almost tell immediately, if they want to give me my money or if they're really reluctant, or I can already tell if it's going to be a smooth process or if it's going to be a really rugged process that gets really dragged out. So after realizing that this lady isn't really budging, I decided to try and what I thought would be to lighten the mood, and I immediately start trying to tell jokes and stuff like that. So she asked me, she's like, why do you need this money? And I go, well, see, I need this money because there's a lump in my mattress and I just need to fill it. And you could have sworn I spoke to this lady in a different fucking language. She looks at me so fucking confused. She's like, so you need this money to buy a new mattress? Why do you need that much? And I'm like, no. I need this money to fill a lump in my mattress. I'm like, there's a little lump about this big. I was like, there's a lump in my mattress. I need to fill it. I need that money to put it in my mattress. And now this lady just doesn't get it at all. So she just keeps re-asking me, so you're gonna pay for somebody to fix your bed? Or wait, are you gonna fix it? And I'm face palming so hard. I'm like, no, I'm gonna fix it. I'm gonna DIY it. And she's like, DIY? And I'm like, there's no fucking way. I just giggle a bit and I'm like, come on. There's no way we're being for real right now. What are we even talking about? But the teller gives me another confused look and she's just like, okay. And then I just had to give up. I'm like, lady, no. I'm like, have you not ever heard about the rappers saying rack stuffed inside the mattress? And she's like, oh, and she just doesn't get it at all. And I'm like, there is no way that the vibes in here are just so uptight. It was just so I don't know, somber and such a hostile feeling up in there. It was like a fucking funeral. It was you couldn't even crack a joke. It was you couldn't even do nothing in there. It was you had to be serious and fucking. It was just so tense, and it was just an overall bad feeling in there. But after filling out this slip and going in circles about fucking, oh, why do you need this money for your mattress and fucking stuffing a mattress and fucking DIY and shit like that, she proceeds to tell me, she's like, okay, well, we don't have enough to give you $10,000 in hundreds. She's like, it would be a mix of 50s, 20s, and 10s. And I'm in my head, I'm like, that's kind of weird. Why can't you give me my money large? Why can't it be all large? But I'm like, fuck it. I'm like, whatever. I'm like, sure, that's fine. You know, it's still the same amount. You know, it's just gonna be small and a mix of bills. And she's like, all right. She proceeds to leave the counter and kind of walk around, and you know, she leaves for like a little minute, like a couple minutes. But she comes back in with the withdrawal slip, and I see no cash. But this time she comes with the branch manager, I believe. I wasn't really paying attention to what her title was or who she was, whoever the lady was that she brought back. But she comes in and she asks me, she's like, okay, so, she's like, hi, okay, so why are you withdrawing this amount? And now I get like a little frustrated because all right, well, you know, you guys are just asking me the same question, and you know, all we're doing is going circles and circles and circles, not going anywhere. But she keeps asking me this, this branch manager, she keeps asking me, she's like, so why are you withdrawing this amount? And I literally, after kind of being a little bit fed up with the same questions being told to me back to back to back to back, and us not going anywhere, I literally, after she said that, I just stared at the counter and I said, have you ever heard of a place called Magic Diamond? And she goes, Magic Diamond? And I'm like, yeah, it's a strip club. And the branch manager and the young bank teller immediately give me the stink eye and make such a disgusting face at me. And without hesitation, the branch manager just goes, oh no, I can't approve that transaction for that. And she's like, I cannot do that. And she's like, I have to give you the slip back. And she's trying to hand it to me through the glass. And I immediately pull back. I'm like, I don't want that. And before she could even put the slip through the thing, the younger bank teller snatches it back. She's like, no, actually, I have to shred that. And I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, I didn't even want that anyways. Like, I don't want that fucking piece of paper. You're gonna fucking shred it anyways, like you just not said. I was like, bro. I was just like, bro, lady, chill. Like, you know, it's not that serious. You don't have to fucking snatch and be like, oh, I'm just gonna shred it. You know, it was just such a big mess. It was way blown out of proportion. But before I left, I asked the branch manager, I'm like, well, then how do I withdraw my funds? I was like, do I have to go back to my hometown and use the bank there? And she immediately goes, she's like, why would you do that? And in my head, I'm like, I don't know. Maybe for security reasons, you guys would view me as less of a scammer and more like the actual account holder if I was in my hometown where I started the account with. But I tell her, I'm like, I don't know. I just want to know how to access my funds. I was like, I just received a Christmas bonus and I want it. And she begins to tell me, well, for us, we don't carry more than $10,000 on hand on a weekly basis at this branch. So you would have to come in and schedule an appointment with us to even get that amount. And I immediately question her. I'm like, Wells Fargo doesn't have more than $10,000 a week? Like, I just couldn't believe that a bank, let alone Wells Fargo, only has $10,000 a week. Like, that shit just doesn't make any sense. Like, that didn't seem believable at all. And honestly, I just thought she was bullshitting me just to let me leave just to get me out of the branch. Like, I don't believe when she was telling me that was actually the truth. It just didn't make any sense, and it just seemed like she wanted me gone and was just feeding me bullshit. So I reluctantly just left and went on about my day. I was like, you know what, fuck it. And I was like, it's not even that big of a deal, I guess. About 15 minutes later, with a sour taste in my mouth, I end up calling Wells Fargo customer service, actually outside of an ice cream shop. I had to fucking eat my frustrations real quick after fucking dealing with those unpleasant ass employees over at fucking 900 West Indiantown Road. So midway tearing down my ice cream, I connect with the customer service and I begin to tell the lady on the phone what I had been through. And I ask her, how do I speak to a higher up and how do I complain about what just happened? And the lady on the phone, she starts to forward me to a different department that'll handle like the more serious claims, I guess, or whatever. But as I was on hold, I just couldn't help but think that that's just all this situation was gonna be. It was just me getting fucked over and some lousy half-ass complaint was just gonna be filed and, nothing really was gonna come about after that. Which, it happens all the time. I was just, in my head, I'm like, damn, nothing's really gonna happen. I'm like, I'm like, bro, I was like, I guess I just have to go to a different fucking branch and try again, I guess. Literally just try again. I was like in hope that they would fucking give me my money. But I end up telling that different department about my scenario. It was a dude that I was talking to this time. And I was just telling him like what was wrong and, you know, kind of like the whole scenario. And he did let me know a little bit that he thought that partly the transaction was canceled was because my bonus was actually pending. It was a pending deposit. And I immediately told him, I was like, no, I was like, sure, yeah, that could be true. But I was like, I was never told that. I told him, I was like, inside the branch, the lady relayed to me that my reasoning for my money wasn't good enough. The reasoning that I gave her was not good enough to withdraw my money. So she canceled my transaction. It wasn't based on a pending deposit or, you know, things of that matter. She straight up told me my reasoning was not good enough. Then I begin to tell him, I just wanted my bonus and I really just want to know how to access my funds. Because if I wanted digital currency, I would have went out and bought Bitcoin instead of just having my money inside of a Wells Fargo account, not doing jack shit. So then he's like, oh yeah, oh, okay. His attitude changes a little bit, and now he's like trying to like hurry up. Now he's like, okay, I understand. He's like, here, I'll give you your complaint ID, and I will let you know that your complaint on the branch manager and the bank teller they're in. And he gave me the complaint ID and all this other fun stuff. And he just let me know that, you know, they'll contact me within, you know, they might contact me within 7 to 10 business days. I was like, all right. Then again, I'm still thinking, I'm like, fuck, dude. I was like, nothing's really gonna happen, bro. I was like, I just made a fucking random ass complaint that is probably not gonna be seen at all. So after hanging up with the complaint department, I was like, you know what? I was like, fuck it, fine. I'll do it the way that the fucking branch manager wanted me to do it. I was like, I'll just call the same branch, I'll schedule an appointment, and then I'll just get my funds. I was like, I'll just do it her way. I was like, fuck it. So with it being almost an hour after my canceled transaction, I decided to call the branch. I was just denied from to schedule an appointment to do a cash withdrawal, since that's apparently what you have to do for my very large fucking transaction. And I end up getting on the phone with the banker, and she goes, hey, what can I do for you? And I tell her, hi, I'm, you know, calling to schedule an appointment to do a cash withdrawal. And she goes, okay, are you trying to do that today? And I was like, yeah, if possible. And in my head, I'm like, there's only an hour left. You know, I don't even know if that's even possible to get an appointment in. But she's like, yeah, we actually have an opening at 4:30. Does that work for you? I go, yeah. And she goes, okay, see you soon. And I'm like, whoa, she's about to hang up. I'm like, wait. I'm like, do I have to tell you how much I'm withdrawing in case you guys don't have it? And she slowly asks, well, how much are you withdrawing? And I tell her 10,000. And she immediately goes, oh no. She's like, we have that. And I begin to tell her, I'm like, really? I was like, I was just told that amount y'all don't even get on hand in a single week. And she goes, what? She says, no, that's not true. And she's like, oh, wait, hold on. Let me speak to somebody. And she puts me on hold. So now I'm on hold for roughly like 30 minutes now. I'm just waiting for somebody to get back at me. And someone finally picks up, and it's a gentleman within the branch at 900 West Indiantown Road. And he tells me that the deposit of my bonus is still pending in my account, and that's the reason for my cancellation. And I abruptly tell him, I'm like, yeah, that's totally understandable, but the branch manager never mentioned that to me. She straight up just told me she did not like my explanation to why I needed my funds. Then I begin to tell him, I just wanted my bonus, and I really just want to know how to access my funds. So then he tries to tell me again, he's like, well, it's just because your deposit is pending. It just hasn't fully cleared yet. But I tell him again, I said, that is not what the branch manager told me. She told me my reasoning wasn't good enough for her. And I told him then, if that was the case, she could have just told me that instead of being an asshole and saying it wasn't good enough. And then he goes, oh yeah, Mr. Brady, I see that's frustrating. And I told him, to say the least, that's frustrating. To say the least. I bank with Wells Fargo all throughout the country, from Montana all the way down to Florida. And it doesn't matter what branch I go to, what city, what state, nothing ever changes. I still have so much trouble accessing my funds. For me, I choose to bank with Wells Fargo because of the accessibility that they have all over the country. But honestly, it is not worth dealing with their circus just to have minimal access to my funds. Wells Fargo is good for being all over the country, but that's just about it. I am actually currently in the works of looking for a new institute to bank with because Wells Fargo just does not take care of their customers, not one bit. And it sucks. It really sucks because I've been banking with Wells Fargo since 2008. And I actually recently just opened a business bank account with them, but sadly I will not be returning as a Wells Fargo customer once the new year begins. But after ranting to the gentleman at 900 West Indiantown Road over the phone about how much cash flow comes in through those accounts and how much of a loyal customer I've been since 2008, he lets me know, "Oh yeah, Mr. Brady, your complaint will be seen, you'll be heard." And I tell him, sadly, that's all it'll ever be. It's just another filed complaint that will be heard. For me, I don't want to be heard. I don't give a fuck if I'm heard. I just want my money. I'm not looking for any type of special treatment. And Wells Fargo shouldn't need somebody to have hundreds of thousands and millions of dollars coming all throughout their bank account just for them to feel like a welcome customer. Every customer, no matter what size of their bank account, should feel welcome and safe within their bank. And I feel none of that when I'm on any Wells Fargo property. Really all over the country. Doesn't matter what branch, city, state, I do not feel comfortable handing Wells Fargo my money. But after telling him my frustrations, he literally just lets me know that they could possibly be following up within 7 to 10 business days and my complaint is gonna be fucking extradited or whatever. It's gonna be fucking shipped up there fast or whatever the fuck he said. And then he hangs up and I continue just to go about my day. Now I'm on a beach just fucking like livid now and I'm like a little bit frustrated. I'm like, she's fucking telling me, reason's not good enough. I'm like, fucking, kicking the sand around and shit. Just fucking pissed off a little bit that I couldn't get my money. Just having a little bit of a little fit or whatever. But, so then I try to enjoy my day. I'm like, you know what? I'm at the beach. I was like, let me just look for some shells, watch the water, and try and stay calm. Again, I just think about it. I'm like, it's just whatever. I was like, And roughly about 20 minutes from when that dude hung up with me, I get a call on my phone and I look at it and I look at the caller ID and it says Wells Fargo. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, why is Wells Fargo calling me? I was like, that fucking entities usually don't call you like that. But I answer and I go, yeah, hello? And this lady on the phone, she goes, hi, hello, is Patrick Brady available? And I tell her, I'm like, yeah, speaking. She goes, hello, Patrick. This is Heidi, the branch manager. And I just wanted to call you to apologize. Do you have any time to speak? And I'm like, bro, this is the fucking lady that told me my reasoning isn't good enough. Fucking Heidi. I'm like, yo, and now she's calling me. I immediately tell him, I'm like, no, I'm kind of busy right now. I was like, in my head, I'm like, I really don't want to talk to you. I have nothing to say to you and you have nothing to say to me. But I tell her, I'm like, no, I'm kind of busy right now. And she says, well, I just wanted to give you a call to give you my side of the story and tell you where I'm coming from. If you would have just told me it was for the casino, I would have okayed your transaction, no problem. It's just that it's the holiday season and I just hung up on her. I couldn't take it anymore. I just hung up on her. She was literally not about to apologize one bit. And on top of that, she just wanted me to lie to her about the reasoning on why I wanted my money. And then she just gives me some bullshit excuse like, oh, it's the holidays and if you would have told me it was for the casino, I would have had no problem okaying your transaction. I'm like, what the fuck? Why would you want me to lie to you? I told you the most straight up answer I could have ever told you. I just want my money. Like, just give me my money. Like, what do you want me to do? Fucking roll over, play dead? Like, what do you want me to do? So I just hung up on her mid-sentence. I honestly could not take whatever Heidi was about to fucking dish me out. Whatever bullshit she was gonna feed me, I really did not want to hear it at that moment. She furthered my opinion on why I never want to bank with Wells Fargo ever again. I want to bank with somebody where I feel safe and welcomed as a customer, and I don't want to be treated like a dickhead. I feel very uncomfortable giving Wells Fargo my money. All in all, I'm in the process of finding a new institute to bank with, and I never want to bank with them again. And you should never bank with Wells Fargo ever, please. They do not make you feel safe and secure, not at all. So much so that they have actually been ordered by a Broward County jury to pay $826 million to the Seminole Tribe of Florida's children for mismanaging a trust fund established to manage gaming revenues. Yeah, you heard that right. A Broward County jury ordered Wells Fargo to pay the Seminole Tribe of Florida $826 million because they mismanaged a trust fund that they had with them. There was literally a whole 6-week trial where attorneys argued Wells Fargo and its predecessor, Wachovia Bank, deliberately invested trust assets in low-yielding accounts and charged approximately $7.6 million in unauthorized fees from 2005 all the way to 2015. A quote from Steve Osber, the plaintiff's attorney, states, Wells Fargo lost sight of its responsibility to protect and preserve the interest of the Seminole minor children. Lead attorney for the plaintiffs, William Schurter, said the jury considered how much more the trust would have earned with appropriate investment strategies, stating, the tribe hired the bank because the bank has the expertise. Wells Fargo's defense attorneys blamed tribal leaders for insisting on conservative investment strategies, but plaintiffs countered that the trust agreement made the bank the final authority on investments. The case originated from a 2016 lawsuit after the tribe discovered hidden fees during a 2015 trust investigation. According to court documents, Wells Fargo admitted to some fraudulent charges but offered only partial refund. The jury ended up delivering its final verdict after 6 hours of deliberation. Schurter called the decision a wake-up call for all financial institutions that think that they are above the law and can take advantage of their clients. Now, if that isn't the whole MO of what Wells Fargo is and is doing, I don't know what is. And I must reiterate to all of you, I feel very uncomfortable giving Wells Fargo my money. Whew, okay. Now that's all for today's story time. That's all for the rant. That's all I'm gonna give you today. Just give me my money.